Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, we're going to be mixing together in one video a couple of Pokemon that on the face of it, do not seem to have very much in common at all. We're talking Escavalier and Furret. But the reason that we're talking about these two cards together is that they actually do have something in common. And what they have in common is, if you are lucky, if you can hit yourself some heads, these are really, really good Pokemon. And actually, before we even get to Escavalier, we might as well start off with Karrablast. You see, Karrablast is a very standard Pokemon. 60 HP means you can search it out with Professor Round's lecture, which is quite nice. And we like the retreat cost of 1 because it opens up stuff like U-turn board. And there's some stuff to like about it. But what we really like about it is 1 colourless energy, flip a coin until you get tails. This attack does 20 damage for each heads that you flip. And I'm not pretending this is some phenomenal attack. I am pretending that if you're absolutely desperate and you're about to lose the game, this can be fun. You might end up in a situation where either you flip 10 heads in a row with Karrablast or you lose the game, and it's not very likely you're going to flip 10 heads in a row. But the alternative might literally be you lose the game. So if my chances are I can either try flipping 10 heads in a row to win or just give up and lose now, give me a coin. But then we move into Escavalier and things are looking a bit more realistically good. 120 HP is lower than we'd like. There's too many Pokemon that hit a natural 120. But then again, you are a metal Pokemon, so you can use Metal Frying Pan or Metal Goggles to reduce the amount of damage done to you. And that's good, because Metal Frying Pan also takes away your weakness, and Metal Goggles also protects you from damage counters being dropped. Retreat cost of 2 means you've got to go to Air Balloon to get free retreat, but you can still do it. Weakness to fire sucks because of Welded X, and resistance to grass isn't terribly competitively relevant at the moment, but it's still nice to have a resistance just in case. As for what you're hitting for weakness, honestly nothing relevant, because anything you would be hitting for weakness has already been well and truly scared off by Zacian V, so sorry about that. Also, you've got Metal Saucer as a metal Pokemon to accelerate energy, which probably isn't needed, but it's still a handy little bonus. I said you needed to be lucky for this attack, and you do. 1 metal energy, flip 3 coins. You do 10 damage base, and if one of them is heads, you do an extra 20 damage. So 30 in total. If 2 of them are heads, you do an extra 70 damage, 80 in total. If all of them are heads, you do an extra 140 damage, 150 in total. And let's be clear, right? 150 is phenomenal for a single energy. Slight problem: flipping 3 coins in a row, you got a 1 in 8 chance of flipping 3 heads. 1 in 2 of flipping 1, 1 in 4 of flipping 2, 1 in 8 of flipping 3. So you're only actually expecting to hit this 12.5% of the time. 1 out of every 8 turns, you're expecting to actually flip 3 heads. Which is not ideal. Doable, but not ideal. Now, as we're talking about attacks that are flipping you need to get lucky, this seems like a nice time in the video to mention Glimwood Tangle. You see, Glimwood Tangle is another card from this set that we looked at a few days ago, and Glimwood Tangle is a stadium card that does what the old Victini used to do. Or, to think about it another way, it does the same thing as the old Victini used to do. Yeah, they were reprinted years apart, but they've got the exact same ability. When you flip coins for an attack, you may reflip. Now, it's all or nothing. You can't go, oh, I got 2 heads, I'll just reflip the tails. That would be a little bit cheeky. But you do get the opportunity to reflip all of them. So now, okay, it's a 1 in 8 chance, but at least you get to take that 1 in 8 chance twice. Still not terribly likely to hit 150 for a single energy, but at least you're expecting it to happen kind of 1 every 4 turns rather than 1 every 8 turns. That's still good, ladies and gentlemen. It's not perfect by any stretch, but it ain't too bad. Also, do bear in mind that as they're in the same set, there will be pre-releases with both of these in, and that's kind of awesome. So even bearing in mind that Glimwood Tangle is a thing, you still do need to get lucky to make the most of this. And I think that's alright. I don't think that's a terribly big problem. I think we can live with this, ladies and gentlemen. I think this is okay. I'm a fan. I know you've got to get lucky, but bearing in mind, flipping 2 out of 3 heads, which with Glimwood Tangle should be something you can do moderately often, and then you're hitting 80 damage for a single energy on a stage 1 Pokemon, that ain't terrible. Now, I should mention here, because I haven't mentioned it yet, our translations come from the lovely Joe over at Cerebi.net, in conjunction with the lovely Antoine Boulet, 2 of our favourite people. Go team! So moving over into Furret then, what does Furret do? I actually really like Furret. Can't tell you it's going to be amazing competitively, can't tell you I do like it, and again, in a pre-release, this is one of the hidden gems of the pre-release for this upcoming set. It's going to be in our August set. This is going to be legitimately good in pre-releases. Might be good in regular tournaments. Let's take a look. 110 HP, well look, I said I wasn't a huge fan of 120 on Escavalier, so clearly I'm not loving 110 on Furret. I do like the single retreat cost because of the whole U-turn board thing, and weakness to fighting, it's not too bad, honestly. There's just not that many fighting decks around. Lightning decks like Pikachu and Zekrom continue to see play and be good, but people just aren't playing fighting. I'm running around playing Excadrill, but I'm not sure how many other people are running around playing Excadrill at the moment, so sorry. You are a colourless Pokemon though, so there's no extra tricks here at all, unfortunately. No nothing. And you're even using single energy attacks, so it's not like you can go, well, at least I can use twin energy. You can use twin energy, but you're attacking for a single colourless energy, so I'm not entirely sure why you would want to. Hey-ho. First attack, 1 colourless energy, draw 3 cards. This is actually really good. I mean, Whimsicott lets you draw 3 cards, but first you got to put a card from your hand into the lost zone, which is not something you're often really going to want to do very much. To be fair, there is the Glysaur from Unbroken Bonds that lets you draw 3 cards with no downside, so it's not exactly unheard of, but it's still a pretty nice attack. But we're talking about Pokemon that have risky flippy attacks, so might I introduce you to the second attack. 1 colourless energy, 90 damage, that sounds good. Flip a coin if tails, this attack does nothing. Oh, there's the downside. The downside is that when you flip those coins, if you flip tails, nothing happens. You've wasted your attack. Does that mean there's no point using this? No, clearly not. Obviously, there's going to be time for it, but it's risky. I think is fair to say. It's a risky kind of attack. There are going to be a fair few turns where this does nothing. Though again, Glimwood Tangle here is your friend. Glimwood Tangle takes it from a 1 in 2 chance to a 3 in 4 chance. So instead of getting it 1 every 2 turns, you would expect to miss it 1 every 4 turns. So it's 90 damage for a single energy. If you're heading out into real tournaments, is it worth the risk? Possibly not. Probably not, if I'm honest with you. Although the fact that you can draw 3 cards for 1 colourless energy does actually really help. Because at least then you're not just playing it for the flippy potential 90 damage, you're able to draw 3 cards as well. But I like it. Again, I think in a pre-release it's going to be an absolute monster. The fact that you can do 90 damage for a single energy, the fact that you can draw 3 cards, and again, because it will be in the same set as Glimwood Tangle, there is a possibility that you draw the pair of them together, and you're hitting 90 damage every turn, while your opponent's struggling to set up. That could be fun. That could be fun. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's give each of these Pokemon 3 Wassies. I don't necessarily think they're going to be competitive powerhouses, but I do really, really like the flippiness if you can flip heads. And to be fair, Escavalier can be amazing. You've Just got to flip 3 heads and then you're fine. And then it's good. But I'd like to know what you think about them. So let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, or you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where you can find out about a whole bunch of games that don't have Pokemon in, but are pretty gosh darned awesome nonetheless. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.